I think right now, obviously, we've had like a political shift, and the more that I've been kind of going over the fallout, and just kind of analyzing what everybody's saying, what people, the videos people are posting, what they're saying on X, and like I'm honestly amazed how many TikTok videos I've seen, how many YouTube videos I've seen of Democrats that are just straight up, they're hanging up the spurs. They're like, I'm done. I'm done. And they're just walking away. Charlie Kirk being murdered, I mean, it's starting, the silver lining is starting to show, and I almost feel like he had, like, as they say, God always has a plan, but I feel like maybe God built him up as like this shepherd to take him away, kind of like Jesus, and to sort of bring America, like maybe Charlie died for America's sins, because all the people that came out and mocked his wife, mocked him, laughed at him for being killed, laughing and joking, being very crude and crass and just really just disgusting and horrific, inhuman. And all the people that were sincere and genuine are just like done. They're like, yo, and what's funny is, it didn't occur to me that these people, it it didn't take that much for them to see what was going on for real. Because they were told their whole lives the Democrat Party is the party of empathy, or it's the party that will allow gay people to exist. A lot of gay people waking up like, whoa, I'm not for this stuff, and I did. People are starting to do their research because Charlie Kirk has been killed. People are going and finding out for themselves, and like even in Candace, black people seeing Candace Owens' videos and showing she humanized him for black people. Like, look, I was good. She said, I was good friends with this guy. This guy was a good dude, and just an honest, God fearing guy that just wanted to make things better. And I mean, I, people are having an awakening, and these are good people. These are not extremists. These are people that are disgusted with what they saw coming out of their so-called friends or their allies, their political party, and they've had enough. Old black guys, liberal white women in their 30s, just straight up like, yeah, I'm done. You guys are crazy. I mean, and they're saying I'll never vote Democrat again, or stuff like the Democrat Party no longer exists. It's not the party of empathy. It's not the party against gun violence. I mean, a lot of them, you can tell how indoctrinated they are, because they're like, no, they're supposed to be against. They're such hypocrites. They're supposed to be against gun violence, but if you disagree with them on guns, then they celebrate your death, or they want you dead. And then I seen a white woman, and she was like, "Oh, you disagree with us? Pew pew." You know what I mean? Like, and she was just saying how they just attack everybody, and how they're willing to, the violence is okay, and I don't want to come off as as happy or anything, but if anything good comes from this, it's that there was already a mass exodus. The Democrats, the further left they go, the more people they squeeze out, and I feel like they just lost like half their party, man. Like all the people that were thought their comrades were sincere, they're not sincere, and these people, they're waking up to the fact, they're like, yo, it doesn't matter if you agree on, or if we agree on healthcare, because we don't agree on violence. We don't agree on we don't agree that political beliefs are not worth anyone's life. Like, me having my political beliefs is not more important than somebody else's life. Like, and essentially that's the dichotomy that Democrats have shown, like, either you believe with us or we're cool with you being shot to death. And oh man, I mean, it's just been such a mask off moment. I've always known these people that there was this sick part, a sick cancer on the body of the Democrat Party. And honestly, my solution, what I've been thinking and talking about this, or um, sort of bouncing this off of people close to me that I trust. I think we should disband the Democrat Party, outlaw it. The name can no longer be used as a party. Outlaw it, outlaw identity politics. And my rationale being, first of all, the Democrat Party has been behind every bad idea that this country has ever had since the day it was in the day of inception. They were behind slavery. They're behind the Civil War. They're behind uh, uh, um, the KKK, Jim Crow, the New Deal. As far as I'm concerned, they were to blame for the freaking the crash too, or the Great Depression, the Civil Rights legislation, the Civil Rights Act, and on top of that, all this, they're trying to get rid of gun. I mean, it's just like one bad idea after another. They have been the architects of how of the so far downfall of America. Like how far we've fallen. They have been the architects of that. They have put us into all these situations. It wasn't the Republicans. The Republicans seem to be the ones. And the Civil Rights Act. Let me take that back, because the Republicans passed that. Lyndon Johnson just pushed it through, and it's funny how Democrats are saying, disagreeing with Charlie Kirk about the Civil Rights Act because he didn't think it should have been passed, when Republicans were the ones who passed it. But it's like and affirmative action as well. But it's just they have been behind some of the worst, like all of the worst ideas. I can't really think of another idea that's as bad that the Republicans thought of. I mean, because we're conservatives. We're trying to conserve what America was, not the slavery and stuff, but all the good stuff. Trying to conserve that. But now we're not the conservatives. We're the progressives, trying to go back to what was more progressive, 50, 60 years ago, like World War II era stuff, or 60s or so, whatever, but trying to go back, roll back the clock, because things were a lot better before Democrats really started to get radical. And like America had a lot of things right, and we went to tinkering with it. Boomers and people started going into tinkering with it, and they almost screwed a good thing up. I mean, totally destroyed it. I mean, as it were, things are screwed up right now, but I think they can be salvaged relatively easy. But they have just totally put us in. I feel like Obama. A lot of it was with Obama, but I mean, like I was saying, all these bad ideas start with them. So why should they even still exist? Maybe it's time to lay that name to rest. Maybe some bad luck, or maybe disband this. Make them start from scratch with a different name. Of course, they're going to be a left party, a center left party, but maybe they can start anew and kick and refresh and get rid of that insane fringe, or maybe they can be redeemed. But honestly, I think things would go back if there was a good, proper center left party out there for all the independents could vote for, all these new Democrat refugees could vote for. I mean, we could there's who knows, we could genuinely be back in a place like the 80s again, or the 90s, where we were passing budgets, with surpluses, treasury surpluses. I mean, if we and because I heard some Democrats saying, I'm not voting Democrat anymore because these aren't Democrats that are in Democrat office anymore. They're nutcases, and that's what I was thinking. If we just totally started anew and just set up like the liberal party, and or maybe even get rid of Republican, go to conservative liberal party, just get rid of the names altogether, and have the Overton window is this: it's nothing social. Our politicians discuss legislature, tax policy, defense policy, policy stuff that's boring. That's what government used to be. All this culture war stuff. The Democrats, they've really foisted this stuff on us. And if we could get back to a day where we were arguing about, defense spending versus entitlement spending, or just budget, worrying about the budget, I think we'd be a hell of a lot better off. And I don't want to. I'm bringing this up as a solution because to me, I don't want to see authoritarianism. I don't want to see people arrested for beliefs. I don't want to see crackdowns on people's beliefs. But I do think something should be done. And I think, I don't think free speech should be broken, but I don't think, maybe it's bending the rules to outlaw a party or a name, the name and a very specific set of ideology, identity politics. But at least the name, I don't see how that's infringing on free speech. It's like, you can go as anything else but a Democrat, anything else, a socialist, the Progressive Party, the Liberal Party, whatever, the Independent Party, it don't matter, but I think it would go a long way, and it wouldn't ruffle that many feathers, it really wouldn't. And the people that didn't want to join this party, that are politicians now, that would be a good way for us to weed out the crazy people that are insincere, that aren't arguing, that aren't in good faith, that aren't actually on Capitol Hill to make the country better. So, I'm wondering, what you guys think of it, because me and my little brother were talking about this, and he brought it up, and I've been thinking about this for years. And when he brought it up, I was like, dude, that's what I've been thinking for a long time. Just since they tried to assassinate Trump, just disband the party, outlaw it, salt the earth like the Romans did to the Carthaginians, make it to where it will never rise again. Don't outlaw any beliefs, like any positions on policy. Just say, hey, you can't appeal to people based on race or gender anymore. And we'll just cut all of that out of politics. I think that's pretty fair, to be honest. I think that's pretty fair. And the whole point of me making this video is, right now, this is a very, very rare moment where we have a ton of political capital built up right now. The moral high ground is with us. People see they're nuts. People don't want to be a part of that party. Right now is when we have to evangelize. People got to get out there. And I might start going to my local campus. It's a college campus. It's like the biggest college campus in the country, I think, for students here in Florida. And it's just 5 minutes from my house. And I considered going up there, over the last year. I think I might start doing that, change my mind type stuff. And I think I would do pretty good too if I'd brush up a little bit. But, anyway, I think this is going to be an inflection point. We can squander it, let it go to waste, not take advantage of all these listless vessels, people homeless, people that are sick to their stomach about that and ashamed that they belong to that party. Yet we have to make them feel welcome. We have to make these people feel welcome. You know, like this gay black kid who was, he's saying that, he thought the like people like Charlie Kirk didn't want him to exist until he watched Charlie Kirk after Candace Owens. That guy cannot be afraid of our party. And after he watched Charlie Kirk, he didn't feel afraid. He's going to be, I'm pretty sure he's going to vote Republican. But we have to, make sure that these people know we have a welcome, that they're welcome in our party. They're welcome in our party, I mean, because something? We're going in the right direction, guys. We're going in the right direction. And our party, the country's going in the right direction all of a sudden, and the Republican Party, thanks to Donald Trump, is getting back to American values. And if we do not take advantage of this opportunity and get as many defectors on board, no judging, these are the people that have seen the light, you're welcome. Come on in. Come on in. There's plenty of room. We've got, and your old friends are here as well. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK. Come on in. Come on in. This is the real party of JFK. And really, we need to, like, I heard Charlie Kirk's guy, something, Devin Colton or something, Colton, like that guy was saying that they were just doing tent revivals, and he just didn't realize it. Chautauqua meetings. We need to get out and start evangelizing. Seriously, we need to start evangelizing Christ. Me and my little brother, we all, I already do that. It's really hard too, like just to go to a grocery store, catch people in the parking lot, and we've done it, and like vibed with people for a couple hours and stuff, hang out and talk about, our, Jesus, our Savior, Jesus Christ. But man, this is the time to put in the work. Charlie literally has given us just a gift we could never have fathomed. Right now is the time to swell the ranks, crush it in this midterm, get the ball really rolling, another 2 years of majority rule, and J.D. Vance is on deck, up to bat. Man, I mean, this strike while the iron's hot. We've got to strike while the iron's hot. This is that time and that moment. This is our civil rights era where we just take back the zeitgeist. Take back the dominant culture. And everybody will benefit from this. Everybody.